Hello and welcome back to the Code Maven channel. My name is Gabor Sabo, and this time we're going to look at the project called rdfind, which is actually written in C++, and we're going to see how to patch it and how to do things around it. So the story behind this is that I have tons of files that I neglected to organize for many years, and now I got to the point that I have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 external hard disks, and many of the files have multiple copies on these disks, and I wanted to start cleaning up things. So I found this project called rdfind that you can run on multiple directories, and it will create a report of the files that are the same in various locations. So it's the various copies of the same file. And the way it does it is that it traverses the whole directory structure or multiple directory structures, and then it starts eliminating files that obviously can't be duplicates. So first of all, it checks the size, and if two files are different sizes, then they can't be the duplicates. So it first eliminates the unique files. Then among the files that has the same size, it checks the first few bytes. And again, if they are different, then it eliminates because they can't be duplicated. Then the last few bytes, again, if they are the same, then they can still be duplicate, but it's not necessarily duplicates because it hasn't checked all the content of the file. And then instead of checking the whole content, it uses a checksum to compare the checksum of the two files, at least for larger files, I guess. And then that's if the checksums are the same, then obviously these files are the same, and that's how it creates reports. The problem I encounter is that I have many files, more than 2 terabytes of data. Some of the files are huge, 1 gigabyte, even 10 gigabyte files. These are videos, and they are all, or many of them, are on external disks that has slow connections. These old USB drives and USB connections. So the whole thing took a lot of time, especially the checksum computation, because for that it had to read the file. So I tried to look how can I speed this up, the whole thing up, and I was looking for a flag for rdfind to say that, okay, don't do the checksum, just to do the first 3 comparisons, and then I will see myself if they are basically the same videos, or what. I mean, there won't be 2 videos with the exact same size that start with the same few frames, and then they're actually different videos. That's not very likely on my hard disk. So I guess I could do that. Unfortunately, rdfind doesn't have such flags, so it will always do the checksum computation. So what can I do? Well, I went to the website. This is the website that you can see. It's not very colorful, but anyway, it has a link to GitHub, and so on GitHub I first looked for the issues, whether there is an issue about this open. I couldn't find, so I opened an issue asking for the possibility to disable the checksum filtering. I got a response suggesting that maybe I should use the max size. So in the rdfind you can actually tell it to only look at files that are of some minimum size or some maximum size, which can be good, but in that case it won't report that there are files. I guess it won't report. Actually, I haven't even checked that. That it won't report files which are the same size, but large. Okay, so maybe actually that whole, now that I'm recording the video, I just thought that maybe that would be actually a good solution. So I'll have to check it. But anyway, I already worked on this, so I'll show you what's going on. So I thought that it's not a good solution. Actually, before I got this comment, I already made the patch that I'm going to show you. So I went ahead and said, okay, now I have this, I opened the issue, but maybe I can myself implement something. So I went and cloned the project, and here it is on my disk, cloned. And then I was looking for the way to compile it. Now it's written in C++, and I haven't written, I think, no C++ at all, or maybe something, but I don't remember anything. I hardly written any C in my life. But I remember that, well, at least on Unix, Linux, you have to run make normally to compile it, because that's how usually people compile it. But I don't know, I mean, you need a few more commands. So I was looking for a way to understand how to compile, first of all, the project. So we'll see I can actually compile the project. And I noticed that it has GitHub Actions, GitHub workflows. So there are various GitHub actions. So there's a continuous integration system. So the first thing I went is try to look at these files to see if I understand from there how the code is being compiled. But after a few seconds or minutes, I gave up and I thought, okay, maybe something else, because it wasn't that obvious immediately. And so I was looking for some text about release, and that's what I did. I grabbed for release. Actually, first I looked at the README file, and it didn't make any sense to me at that point. But now I found that there is a file called release new version. So that was basically how I found it. Maybe I did a few more searches. So I can look at it, that file, and see what the instructions are. And quite soon I saw that these are the instructions. So I can quite easily, let me show in this way so I can copy and paste. So I just need to clean up the Git repository. So I ran this, then I can run Git the bootstrap. And then after the bootstrap, I need to run configure. And I think at this point already, I noticed that there is something missing. I had to install one package, and I added it to the blog post, so you will find it. But from the error message, it was obvious what I need to install. Then I ran configure, which, I mean, the bootstrap gave some error message, but that sort of was okay. And then I ran make as I was instructed, and well, I got this error, and well, it was a bit disappointing that I can't even compile the code. But soon I thought, okay, well, maybe there's a solution for this. So I took the string, I searched for it, and I quite easily found that there is this bug report already with about rdfind and about this exactly the same error message, and that there is already a solution for this. Okay, somewhere it says, okay, yeah, this is fixed by this commit, which is on branch devil, but not yet on master. Okay, actually they don't have master branch, they have main branch, but doesn't matter. So I looked for the git branch -v -a, and it showed me that there is a branch called devil. So I from development, so I checked out that branch, and then from that and in that branch. So if I now check out the devil branch and I run the whole thing again, then I can I do all the other instructions as well, but I didn't have to, I think. So now I can run make, and here indeed it was already solved and it compiled. And this created a file called rdfind here, which is basically the same executable that I installed earlier. So now I know how to compile the code. Now I only need to figure out how to add the features I wanted. So I created another branch for myself, which I don't remember now, disable checksum. This was the name of the branch. And what I wanted to understand is how the command line parameters are accepted. So obviously I will need to add some flag. I thought first to add a no checksum flag, and so to disable checksum whatever flag. I ended up actually adding another value to the checksum flag, which said none, saying that you don't do any checksum, you don't calculate any checksum. So I'm trying to figure out how it's being processed, the command line, and I know that the command line is usually the command line parameters are usually stored in something called argv. So I ran a search for argv, and I found that there is something called the command line parser here, the command line parser CC. Now, one other thing that the CC or in C, well, in C++, the CC files are the code and the HH are just the headers. Less interesting at this point. So I found this command line parser and I looked at it, but it wasn't actually the file where it was only doing the parsing, but where the definition is the rdfind CC. So a little bit of looking around. So I found this, and I noticed that here is the error. Here are the error message. Sorry, the help messages written here, and here are various values. And here, further down, is where it's checking what kind of flag was given, and then turning on a value in that in this object, this options object. Okay, so basically that's how it's being parsed. And then I looked at it because I said checksum. Okay, so there's the checksum flag, and I was looking for what happens with that, and this wasn't there, this line as I added. So I noticed that there are these flags: use MD5, use SHA-1, or use SHA-256. These were the three options. And then further down, so if the flag given to this checksum being SHA-256, then turn this on. And if you further search, then you can see that there was some, okay, so this was setting the default, and then here was the code that actually executed the checksum or configured the execution of the appropriate checksumming. So basically what I did, and I'm going to include the patch git show head. This is the patch. What I added, I changed the documentation, the help, saying that it's now going to accept also none, the checksum flag. I made some changes, so there is a value, an attribute called checksum, which is by default true. So it won't, the default behavior won't change, that it will calculate the checksum. And then here, if the user passed none, then we turn off this checksum flag. Here, some error messages. And then the code that this was only changing the indentation here and adding an extra condition. So only if the checksum is on, then we'll check which one of the checksums is actually needed and then use that. So basically that's it. Then I obviously committed the change. I didn't write a test. I was lazy. I didn't run the test locally, but I committed the change and pushed it out to my forked version of the repository. And if we go back now, let's go back to this to the code and to the forked version that I have. Interesting, it's here. Okay, you will see, it takes some time, in the GitHub actions that everything was green. So I was happy I sent the pull request, and though now already I'm not sure that actually I really needed this flag. I will check it later after the video. But it was a nice exercise to check to make some changes to a C++ project. Actually, after that, I thought also that maybe I would like to add a couple of other things here, maybe allowing the user to configure how many bytes are being checked from the beginning of the file and from the end of the file, so it will be customizable by the user, and also to print out how much time passed on each step of the filtering project. These are interesting changes that could be added. And now that I'm using quite a lot this project, maybe I'll add these patches as well. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, if you like the whole idea of these videos, then please check the like of the video and follow the channel so you get more updates when I upload a new video. And there are links below the video. There are links to a blog post where more information about these, links to the various the repository and the patch itself that I included, and also the way to support my effort to make patches to open source projects. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.